50 kilometers from the Black Sea coast, surrounded by the snow-covered mountains of Northern Caucasus, there is an inconspicuous village of Chernigivskoye, the starting point of Apsheronsk narrow gauge railway. This is the only operating mountain narrow gauge railway in Russia. It passes through the remote villages of Krasnodar region and terminates in the village of Oddalonny, 28 kilometers from Chernigivskoye. Nowadays, Apsheronsk railway consists of two separated lines. The first one connects Chernigivskoye station and Shpalares station in the village of Oddalonny. The second line connects Guamka and Mizmay stations. In the past, these two lines were parts of one railway network, whose main railway yard was located in the city of Apsheronsk, 30 kilometers from Chernigivskoye. The railway stretch from Apsheronsk to Chernigivskoye was disassembled in 2010. The Guamka-Mizmay stretch had become isolated even earlier, in the 80s, as a result of a flood. In 2011, after the closure of the line to Apsheronsk, the railway depot was moved to Chernigivskoye. There we can find diesel locomotives along with passenger and freight cars. Until recently, Apsheronsk narrow gauge railway transported timber from nearby forests. However, there is no more freight service anymore. Passenger wagons are used for transporting tourists. In Chernigivskoye, you can order a personal train and go to any point of the existing railway. At the same time, 9 times a week, a regular passenger train, which is called Matritsa, or basically Matrix among the locals, runs between Chernigivskoye and Oddalonny. This is a single diesel locomotive class 26P built in 1988, designed for transporting of passengers and small cargo. The last meters of the operating track are located in the center of Chernigivskoye opposite a Soviet building, which houses a bank branch and a railway station with a small waiting room at the same time. There I met a lovely woman who appeared to be a station manager and received up-to-date information on the traffic activity.
То есть...
Ну а сейчас это нет, сейчас дорога она закрыта.
Она вообще закрыта или на каком-то участке?
Только она доходит до 10-го километра.
Отсюда?
Да, это 10 километров отсюда.
Так.
И потом до Резheta хлеб везем, вот завтра мы.
До куда еще раз?
До Резheta. Это 14 километров отсюда.
За?
А до Шпалареза 30 километров до конечной.
Угу.
Туда не ездим вообще.
Давно?
Дня 4, наверное, уже.
Это вот как снегопад, да, прошел?
Да. Так, ну хлеб повезут завтра. Но у нас еще тут один заболел коронавирусом, придет обрабатывать. Поэтому поедем где-то часов в 9, сказали.
Утра?
Да.
It turned out that trains do not run to Oddalonny due to massive snow drifts on the tracks. Only a railway stretch to the village 10 kilometers from Chernigivskoye is functioning, and loaves of fresh bread will be delivered there tomorrow by the Matrix. I finally decided to book a hostel, and surprisingly here is a small hotel in this village. And this is my room that costs $10 per night. Not the cheapest option, not the most expensive. We should take into consideration that this is the only hotel in this village, and it's mostly occupied by road workers who built the road to Sochi from here, surprisingly. So I'm not sure if somebody lives here or not, because I can see some stuff, some random clothes lying here. But the main advantage is that here I have my personal bathroom, but unfortunately not the personal toilet. This is my hotel, and this is the freaking toilet. So at least now, guys, you understand that $10 here in the mountains of Northern Caucasus means literally nothing, or at least the hole in the floor for your shit. When I came at the station in the morning, Matrix had already been there. According to the new plan of the station manager, the bread would need to be delivered to Kushinka, the village located on a dead-end branch from the main line. In addition, after getting to Kushinka, the train will go further to the village of Novyy Rezhet, which is a few kilometers from Kushinka towards Oddalonny.
Вот это возьми на себе. Да как бы ты дал бы, как деду.
Having loaded the bread and snow fighting tools, we left Chernigivskoye. January 2022 turned out to be snowy at Northern Caucasus. Snowdrifts became a serious obstacle to the normal operation of the railway, as you have probably guessed. The approximate weight of the matrix is 16 tons, but even such a juggernaut can hardly pass drifted stretches of the line. For example, railroad crossings. The gauge of the Apsheronsk railway is 750 mm. This is the most common narrow gauge standard in former Soviet Union. Narrow gauge trains tend to run slower than standard and wide gauge ones. In case of the Apsheronsk railway, the speed is limited primarily due to the poor track's condition. According to locals, in the past the way from Chernigivskoye to Oddalone could be covered in an hour, which is twice faster than today. Apsheronsk railway runs parallel to the mountain river Pshekha, which originates near Fisht, one of the most well-known summits of Northern Caucasus. Unlike the wide gauge railway, the railway right-of-way here is not cleared. Fallen trees and their thick branches create obstacles on the tracks, so the crew of Matrix doesn't set forward without a chainsaw. We met a group of tourists on our way who were going to look at the waterfalls. However, they didn't get on the train and carried on walking.
Сами дойдут.
Сейчас они уже просто старики. Ферма была как зажиточные крестьяне.
А так что, скот держит?
Держали. Сейчас там, наверное, ничего не держит. Сейчас просто старики доживают. Судя по ихнему огороду, он весь народ. Деревья.
I even spotted a 60 km/h speed limit sign, proving the fact that trains used to run faster here. In addition, due to the mountainous terrain, there are a lot of curves that are also require careful driving. At 10th kilometer, the matrix stops and its engineer switches to Kushinka. Most of the houses in the settlement of 10th kilometer look quite abandoned. People live here year-round, but the main influx of the population occurs in the warm season. According to one of the passengers of the matrix, all the houses in the 10th kilometer and in Kushinka have owners, including abandoned ones. Usually people from various regions of Russia come here in summer, but in the winter you can meet mostly indigenous people and the ones who have been living here for years. The line to Kushinka is 2.5 kilometers long. About half of the track was covered with snow, which we soon ran into. Nothing remained for me, the passengers and the locomotive crew but to try to clean the tracks. Attempts to break through the snowdrifts by the locomotive were unsuccessful. The matrix got stuck in the snow. We worked out the following plan. At first, we cleaned approximately 20 meters of snow manually, and then we tried to get further by train, winning another 100 of meters. And so we did multiple times. The situation was complicated by the falling trees, that, however, were easily cut by a chainsaw and thrown away by a pair of strong hands. Working this way, we were gradually approaching the station. It was necessary to get straight to the platform to unload some cargo there and to clear the way for the self-made rail car that is used by locals to get to Chernigovsk.
Finally made it to Kushinka station, and the task for now, the next task for us, is to get out of here somehow, because you see the snow is so thick at this place.
In Kushinka, all the passengers except me got off the train. Having transferred the passengers to their village, we went back to the switch to ride further towards Rezhet. I noticed that we were followed by a diesel locomotive with electricians who were going to Rezhet to fix power supply. Our train is arriving at Novyy Rezhet station. It took the matrix 3 hours and 10 minutes to get here, including the journey to Kushinka. The engineer plans to go back in 3 hours. During the stop, I didn't walk far from the train and didn't really explore the village. In Rezhet, the railway crosses Pshekha river over a bridge, which is sketchy not only to drive but even to walk. On the opposite bank of the river, there is a post office and a payphone. In front of them is the current end of the railway. At 4:30, the train departs. We cross the bridge, pick up passengers and then head back to Chernigovsk.
Не понял.
Флаги же.
А, ну, да, видимо.
The train arrives in Chernigivska at 6:35 p.m. After such a hard day, it seems that the train service is over. However, new passengers are already waiting the train in Chernigivska. In just half an hour, the Matrix will get them back to Rezhet. In Chernigivska, I was hosted by a local man who I traveled with in Matrix. Thanks to him and thanks to you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel not to miss new videos. Also, do not hesitate sharing your opinion about this video in the comment section below. See ya!